found the Laid Off Lads podcast, where three average guys from Central Florida discuss anything but average topics and have all the time to do it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Laid Off Lads podcast. With me, as always, Mr. Christopher Boyce.
Yep.
And Mr. Phil Ngari. Okay, I thought he was going to do like this grand reveal on the Skype. There
Phil
he
disappears
is.
Once a pod. It's his gimmick.
He was like under the desk.
On YouTube, and you watch this on YouTube, Phil
pet my
disappears
puppy.
once every pod.
I thought for sure he was going to do this like grand reveal of like Phil Ngari. But no.
I don't move that fast anymore. Once you hit 30, I
It's
think
all
we
downhill from
slowly reveal myself.
We cover all the realms of movement. Phil disappears and reappears and walks around. I've got movement, but Ferris is stationary the entire time.
He is.
The head, your posture, you don't move. It's like, bam, consistency.
You do have good posture for being 6'6".
Well, actually, I don't. I actually really don't. My mom used to like hit my back all the time and be like, stand up straight.
Damn.
But I mean, as the, I guess, I don't know, the host, if you call it that, I feel like you have to have some sort of steady barometer of, I don't know, steadiness. Steady barometer of steadiness. Welcome to the Laid Off Lads podcast. As I said, now available in all of your podcasting preferable platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we are available on YouTube. You can check us out on our site, www.laidofflads.com, as well as our socials. There was a heavy debate before the pod. Do we keep the section of this pod called the Classifieds? There was a heavy debate. We're going to debate that a little bit. If you're, let us know what you think. I don't know if we're going to stick with that or not. I mean, it was good to kind of start off with, but the more we got going, it's, more. Is it interesting? Is it not interesting? Do we just call it cool that we heard throughout the week and want to talk about?
Let's just talk. We're
That's
just going to call it the Talk pod.
because there's all
Let's just
sorts. Right. That's the talk pod because there's all like think about what in our lifetimes now. In the matter of a week, a lot can change. A lot can change. And there's really news and cool that pops out within a week. Like for instance, have you guys seen the drone footage that some dude flew over the volcano that just erupted in Iceland?
I didn't see that.
It's
It
phenomenal.
is phenomenal,
Well,
footage.
you get a hard on for anything seismic, so
I do. And my earthquake app has been blowing up for the past 2 weeks with about 4 to 5.5 range earthquakes over Iceland for about 2 weeks. And it's a very seismic area.
I can't control the things I say.
Probably one of the most funniest things you've ever said, ever.
One of the most accurate too.
Yes.
I mean,
my God.
It's no lie. I love it. So I'm watching these things and I know I'm like, dude, something's happening. And I know there's a lot of there's a lot of seismic activity, a lot of volcanoes.
Well, and wasn't it something that I saw that was like this volcano has been dormant for 6,000 years?
Yes. Yeah.
That's a hell of a long time.
Holy shit, really?
6,000
And it
years.
happens now.
And
Yeah.
Boyce is correct because I read an article today that was saying that for the past few weeks there have been these earthquakes that have popped up in this area. But has anybody sat there? Was there any? I don't know what they're called. Scientists that came out and said, "Oh, you might want to watch for this volcano because it might erupt."
Yeah. Anytime there's repeated seismic activity or an increase in a certain area, I'll look up articles and all things like that. So there was a lot of speculation that one of the volcanoes would erupt. That whole Iceland was created by volcanoes, just like Hawaii. So there's a lot of hot springs and things like that. And the entire place is very seismic and very volcanic. So it was only a matter of time before one of those popped
Dude,
up.
I'm convinced that the world's going to end in our lifetime. It has to.
You're also convinced that Jurassic Park is real.
That's true. Maybe we'll regress back to the dinosaur
Stone
days.
Age. That you know what? That I could subscribe to.
Yeah.
Like
but
technology, we're doing it so much that the technology then just kills us back to like, screw you, no fucking internet, no cool shit, no iPhones. You're back to having to walk across the street to tell somebody hi, or write something on a piece of
the sun
paper,
is
put
going
it in the mail.
to neutralize that. The sun will neutralize our technology. The sun goes through 11-year cycles of activity with sunspots, and sunspots are basically huge magnetic fields that send out solar flares, and CMEs, which are huge blasts of radioactivity. So we're at the next cycle of the 11-year cycle. So once those things hit, they can hit our electrical fields, they can hit our satellites. Solar flares are huge. They will us up.
I'm convinced. That's why I grew my hair out. So when the Stone Age comes again, I fit right in.
Yeah, coronal mass ejections, CMEs, are huge.
Well,
I get
sounds like
text
a virus.
alerts. I get text alerts on those also. Anytime there's a heavy solar activity or there's sunspots or solar flares, I will get text alerts on that also. Astronomy and seismology. So when goes down, I'm going to be the guy saying, "Hey, it's about to go down."
It's
And
cool.
when I do,
It's interesting stuff. Like I'm not gonna like I read a whole bunch of things on it today because you're like, holy crap, a 6,000 thing that's been sitting there for ages is spewing out this hot lava. And if you have not, I mean, obviously you're going to hear this a week from today because the news kind of came out today. We are 22nd of March. If you have not seen it within a week, go out and look at that because it is really, really cool.
I will after this. I will.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
And thankfully, the volcano is not near. It's 6 miles away from Reykjavik, or no, not Reykjavik. It's near there, right? But it's 6 miles away from the nearest town, or something to that extent. So
pretty close.
Pretty close, but I mean, what's like from the seismologist on the pod, Boyce? What's like the length of volcano spewage?
I don't know. That really depends.
Depends on the size of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables with that.
It's not Pompeii.
No,
I don't think that is.
Which I've been to Pompeii, and Pompeii's being awesome.
Have you really?
It is awesome.
Did you see the people who were like frozen in time?
No, we didn't go. There's also like a place where I think they got not frozen, but like ashes fell on them, even like people having sex and stuff. And
yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I can't remember what it was
called. You
called.
can see them as statues, essentially, of the position exactly where they were when that mesoplastic blast hit them.
Yeah, we didn't go to see that, but we did walk like through the ruins, and it was sweet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anything other cool you guys saw on the news today, or this past week, or have you guys watched the Zach? This is very specific. Very specific. I don't quite know why. So if somebody knows this by the time you listen to this podcast.
Zac Efron.
No.
Okay.
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
No.
The new. Okay. Good talk.
I don't even know what that is. I didn't even watch the other Justice League.
I did, but
like
it's the big
superhero type stuff.
Yeah. Yes. Batman, Spider-Man. No, wrong one. Damn it.
That's DC.
Correct. Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman.
Really
Cyborg,
like
Flash, that whole thing.
That's not my jam.
Not a fan of DC.
I probably am more than I am Marvel, so that alone will probably get a lot of people click unsubscribe. But we sat down to watch it the other day because it's now available. Like most things are starting to do, they're coming out on these streaming platforms opposed to actually in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And we sat down to watch it last night, and I did not realize that mother is 4 hours long.
What is?
Good. Now you can watch Lord of the Rings. You prepped yourself via
I knew you were going to say that.
Now start watching the trilogy.
No. Hey, we're having to do it in parts. We're going to do it by like an hour or so a night because 4 hours, like, that's a shift.
So you can
people can pay to shift
stop
for
in the
4
middle
hours.
of a movie and then pick up the next day?
100%. Are you sitting
Oh
there
my
watching
God.
a 4-hour?
I would.
I've never known of a 4-hour movie.
What's the
But I
longest
can't stop in the
movie
middle of a
that
movie.
you've watched?
King Kong. King Kong.
No, The Irishman, 3 hours.
You're correct. The Irishman is long. Yes, I'm. That's probably the longest that I can think
Watched
of.
that on Thanksgiving 2 years ago, and
It
biggest
felt
regret.
like 3 hours too.
Yeah. I was not
You
a
know?
fan of it.
Like, there's
Which is
look it
some.
up
disappointing
for
for
you.
Irish people.
True.
I
don't-
movies.
But it didn't really have anything really much to do with the
It
Irish.
did, but-
It was all about John Gotti
Yeah,
and
It was.
the mob and how all of that is done. But okay, so all right, Lord of the Rings, I bash is hella long. That's why but I don't really have an interest in that sort of thing. I'm more of the wizard and wand in like the Harry Potter realm, opposed to the trolls and
The
wizards.
Irishman made the top 10. I'm
What,
sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. So I
yeah,
just
that makes sense.
here we go. I just looked
Once
it
Upon
up.
a Time in America has to be up there as well.
Here we go. So the longest movie ever made was in 1963, Cleopatra.
Oh, I've heard of it.
And we have 1996, Hamlet.
Does
That
it
was
give the time?
242 minutes.
What was
Yes,
Cleopatra?
Cleopatra was 248.
Oh, wait,
Hamlet,
we gotta convert that to
242.
hours.
Yeah. Somebody,
Divided
I'm
by 60.
pouring a beer.
I got
Somebody
the calculator. So what was the
Thank
first one? 248.
Divided by 60. So that's
Yeah, do it in your head all of a sudden. You can
4 hours.
4
2
hours,
minutes, right?
13 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Gone with the Wind.
I knew that one was long. That's why I've never seen it.
Minutes.
Yeah.
How many?
Lawrence of Arabia.
What
Haven't
was
some of
going-
these? What was? Sorry.
Gone with the Wind. How many minutes?
Gone with the Wind was 221.
3 hours and 3 hours and 60. Can't be 68 minutes. 3.68. Whatever the hell that converts to. I'm done doing time.
And then just going down a list, Lawrence of Arabia, the Ten Commandments. These are all in like the 1950s and 60s. Ben-Hur, The Irishman. That was 209 minutes.
So that was the most current by far, because all the
Yeah.
ones that preceded that were old school. Like, hey, you guys have nothing else to watch.
Correct.
Here's
There's
some
nothing
long
else to
shit
do during
watch.
that. Yeah.
So the
You got The
Irishman was like
Godfather
the,
Part
the
2.
current times.
Oh,
Yep.
The Godfather Part 2. But here's the thing. To me, now, boys, I know you probably can relate to this. The Godfather Part 2 I don't see that as overly long.
Oh, that was
But that's the thing.
My
When you
top
are
2 of all
engaged
time.
in the movie,
Yes.
you can't pause. You can't just set it down and leave it. Lord of the Rings is the same way. Which Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, that's one of my favorite movies ever. That one made the list at 201 minutes as well.
man,
So there you go. Sorry.
that's long.
Okay, we're good.
That's what she said.
Seismic.
Seismic.
That was great.
Seismic.
Great. One of the funniest things you've ever said.
This whiskey is starting to knock it out of me. This cold
Knock-
I've got.
Look, what? Okay.
I went into this thinking, all right, I'm going to be Michael Jordan, Game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals against Utah,
Yep.
where he scored 38 points. Had the flu. I'm like, you got
No, he
this,
did not
dude.
have the flu.
I know it was there was debate about it, but he
Oh.
played like he did. You
Wasn't
remember
it
that?
like
and it became a story.
Pizzagate or something? Like they
I'm
were
sorry, what?
like because he
You're
just
going
came
to
out with a
compare
documentary.
Pizzagate, pedophiles in the basement of a pizzeria, to Michael
What?
Jordan having the flu in
No.
1997.
Oh, whoa, no,
Have
no,
you
I
not
didn't-
watched The Last Dance?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Hold on, wait. What are you talking about, boys?
Oh, Pizzagate's a whole different story. I'm not.
What is
That's
Pizzagate?
political as shit, and that's a deep, creepy story.
Oh,
about-
I don't
talk
know
about
about
that later.
There's
No.
a
That's not
pizzeria
what I
with
was.
the cliques, and there's a basement where there's pedophiles, and that's nuts. Like, look up Pizzagate in the internet under conspiracies, and you will go down a rabbit hole.
I
Sorry,
just want pizza.
way off there.
Yeah, no, not at all what I was talking. I was just
Alright.
trying to make up something funny in my head because everything now is a gate.
Oh yeah,
In the
Pizzagate.
Last
Don't ever mention
Dance-
Pizzagate. That's
Yeah,
dark.
okay, all right. Fair enough. Now that I know that, I'm staying away from that. But the Last Dance, which was just shown on ESPN Plus or something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and in that there was this conspiracy or this thought that he got bad pizza from what pizza place was it? Because it was it was like one of the top chains.
Did they mention
they-
the chain or just say it was Because I
believe
remember
they
watching
did.
it. I don't
don't
remember
think they
them
did.
mentioning the chain. That
There
would
probably
was
a lot-
Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut was very popular back then.
Yeah, I thought they did. I thought they did somewhere, but in it they talked about that they were in a Utah hotel or something, if I'm not mistaken, and they had gotten pizza delivered, and that was what caused it. But then there was a debate on, well, if they got pizza delivered to a room with a bunch of basketball players, why didn't everybody else get it?
And they had said when the delivery happened, there was a bunch of guys with the pizza delivery guy as
Correct.
if they knew Jordan was in that room.
Correct.
And it
but then there
was
was
Utah, so they wanted to food poison
right.
him.
Correct. Yes.
Exactly.
Correct. But there was this whole thing because, well, no, who delivers a pizza with like 5 people? And if the hotel has any sort of security, they're not letting 5 people with this pizza company deliver 2 pizzas up there.
Pizza
It's going to be 1, right? It just doesn't make sense that way. And then
was
the other thing
Pizza
was,
Hut.
Yeah,
Was
that's
it
what I
really?
thought. Yeah,
Pizza
it was definitely a top 5, like it was a top chain. And then there was a debate on whether Michael Jordan, that is, used to make sure that people didn't eat his food. So
Yes,
like if
that's
he
correct.
ordered it, it was like, I'm eating this. This is Michael's food. That's your food. Not like in a, this food is lesser, but like this is my portion. So like
Yeah.
this pizza's for me. You have that pizza. And yeah, it's that's what I meant by that term. But now that I know about the other thing, did not know that whatsoever.
Yeah, that's a whole other pizza gate. Look that up if you want.
Speaking of Utah, did you guys watch the Mormons?
No, I didn't yet.
Murder of the
All right, you want to
Mor-
talk about not watching something all the way through?
Oh my
I've
God.
watched 2/3 of Murder Amongst Mormons, and it's
3
fascinating.
hours, literally split into like an hour episode, but it's
Yeah,
fascinating.
they're about 45 minutes each.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I sat up till 4 in the morning watching the first 2, and then have not watched it. I haven't had the opportunity to watch the third of the 3 installments yet.
See,
But it's fascinating.
I'm that guy that these streaming services go for, where you just binge watch. Because I'm watching 2 episodes, and it was that interesting to me. I'm like, I gotta finish it right away. I gotta figure out what the hell happens at the end of this.
What I didn't
Clearly,
realize,
okay.
speaking of streaming services, 'cause I know you're huge on streaming services. I'm on that fence of I've got DirecTV, but we've got Hulu, we have Amazon, we have Netflix. So I'm like, man, we need to ditch DirecTV. But the only reason I keep DirecTV is for the NFL Sunday Ticket. We get
Mhm.
that so I can
You
watch
can
all
get
the
that.
Eagles games.
You can still
You
Alone.
can't
get
get
that.
that with a DirecTV. They have an
You can-
exclusivity contract
No,
with them.
you can get that as a separate app.
Shut your mouth.
You can get anything as a separate app now.
Well,
It
but
doesn't have any
Here's the
ties to
thing.
anything.
Well, hold on. He may be onto something here because I kept Spectrum Bright House at the time for ages because they were the only ones that have Sun Sports and Fox Florida. They showed all of the Lightning games, Rays games, Magic games. So I kept it when I came up for years.
Yep.
But then I switched to YouTube TV because they had Fox Florida and Sun Sports. Within this past year, those Fox networks pulled out of pretty much any individual streaming service that they were available on. So like YouTube TV, Fubo TV, I think Hulu, they pulled out of it. So now my only option right now, if I want to watch the Bolts in my home, is to go back to Spectrum, I believe, or DirecTV, or a cable provider.
I have to research that because there's some channels I don't want to. I don't know how you watch all the NBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, but I don't want to lose the History Channel, Discovery Channel. There's a lot of channels I don't want to lose, but I've got to do my
Discovery-
all of
research.
those
I
have
think it's
apps. All of those have
yeah,
apps.
I think it's time to ditch
Discovery
DirecTV.
Plus. They
Eagles
have
are gonna suck for
Discovery,
2 years.
TLC, I believe they have the History Channel. They have all of that now. It's all into one. Look at that one. You would like that one.
Yeah.
We have that one for the paranormal stuff that we love. That
I love that stuff too.
hates. Oh,
Yeah,
there's
I love that
good
stuff
ones on
too.
there. Ariana got hooked on this one the past few days that I started to watch. It's with Jack Osborne, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Ozzy
Ozzy's son.
Osbourne. Yeah. He's a paranormal investigator working with, I don't remember her name, but the pair of them, it's called Portals to Hell.
Ooh.
Oh, that's good. And they go and they do these investigations in like some of the most haunted places in the U.S. But
Yeah.
it's done a little bit differently than how most of these shows go. They get history, they tell you about it, they walk through with who owns the thing, they get that, they bring in a not a mediator, like a psychic medium
Yeah.
that goes in the rooms blindfolded. They don't know where they're walking into, and hear what, have them basically say what they feel and hear. And more times than not, that lines up with exactly what the people that own that or the stories from this particular spot that they're in
Right.
say. It's pretty interesting. So she went on a binge of that the other night, and I got
What channel
home
was that on?
from work, and it's on Discovery, but she went through it on Discovery Plus.
And
It's
how
on
do you
there.
get Discovery Plus?
It's one of those separate. It's like $4.99, $5.99, $6.99, something rather for.
What platform do you watch it on?
You can
Just
watch
download
it Apple TV, your
Okay, Apple
iPad, Google Chromecast, Fire Stick, an app, satellite. I don't know. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, that's our cool of the week, I guess. Is our
Cool
new.
of the week. I like that. That should be the headline.
That's our new segment of the show. And something else, I guess, I saw from this past week that will turn into what's a topic. Do you gentlemen know yesterday, March 21st, is 1 year to the day?
That was my wife's birthday yesterday.
Oh,
I'm going to give a shout out. I'm going to interrupt
Happy
you to give
birthday.
a shout out to my wife. Happy birthday, Mary Boyce. I love you. Happy birthday. Good times.
happy birthday.
Party on.
Absolutely.
So I hope whatever you're going to say in terms of anniversary of this date isn't going to be horrible because it's her birthday.
Completely downhill. Don't worry about it.
All right.
1 year to the day that Tiger King was introduced to us.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wow. I
that's-
didn't know that.
Yes.
I should have told her. Happy birthday, happy anniversary of Tiger King. From now on, I'm going to tell her that.
Yes.
That's going to be in her birthday card. Happy birthday, happy
Hey,
second anniversary of Tiger King next year.
She gets Carol Baskin cards every year.
You have to.
It
From
is
here on
done.
out.
It is done. If
Hey,
they don't
cool
exist,
cat
I'll make
kittens,
them.
Happy birthday.
I'm going to make them from good. I'm glad this happened. The
That
tradition
show-
starts next year.
Oh, that's brilliant. 1
That
year
show
to
was
the day.
so entertaining.
Who
It
is
was
in
so
jail
entertaining.
currently because of that show?
Who was?
Just the Tiger King who's currently in jail because of that show.
Yeah.
Carol is free.
Spoiler alert, but yeah, if you haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet. You're a dumb.
Carol is
He's
still
not in
free.
jail for life. And I'm surprised they did not do a full investigation on her. Or maybe they did, but
It's interesting. I just watched a AMC documentary because, like, the Discovery Plus I was telling you about has TLC tied in with it. Is it the AM? No, not the AMC. What's the other one? A&E. Right? That's a station.
Yep.
Yes. So it was an A&E documentary on. It deemed it Tiger King, but it was more about the disappearance of Carol Baskin's ex-husband.
Correct. In
And
the plane?
how-
Was it plane?
It was. I don't know. There's still so many questions.
it was a plane he
Is-
never got on.
It was his plane
That he never got on.
that the flight registration. Yes, the flight. Right. That's what they go into. It is so he didn't just disappear. He's not down in Costa Rica, I think it was. He's not hiding somewhere. He's dead. But who killed him? And that's what they're still. It's still a cold case. It's still an unsolved. Who did it? But like, there's so many different varying points of evidence. Trying to be careful with my words because I don't want to get us sued. But points of evidence that point towards one of the main people in the Tiger King series. because of various things that were done and going to the office and changing the will and breaking into his office and showing the whole thing is very interesting, and that man is still in jail. Now, did he deserve it? I mean, the court certainly thinks so, and he's not the most upstanding gentleman out there. But then you have this shady business owner that came in and took over his
The whole
zoo.
thing was just so intriguing.
It
How
was
much money do you
nominated,
think he made?
nominated for 6 Primetime Emmy Awards. I'm looking at it right now. 6.
Did Joe Exotic make any money off of this?
Oh, 100%.
How much do you think he made?
Well, he's I don't know, but he's paying it back in court fees and lawyers and everything else.
How
But
long
he
was
went
in
to jail
prison?
for like a conspiracy to hire for murder or something, and
Yep.
They looped in animal cruelty charges for bones and stuff found on his property where he owned the zoo. But what they were saying in this documentary is it's very rare for a federal case like this for them, or maybe it wasn't a federal case. It was just very rare for them to loop those into his sentence.
Yeah, but I mean, there are also witnesses that threw him under the bus
Yeah, listen,
that testified, like, yes, he did
Right.
everything.
but the whole thing is it just dissects it in such a way that you're just like, you're right. It's intriguing.
And he's in prison for 22 years.
Is he?
22 years.
Probably
Which-
lifespan.
No,
At this
after
point?
everything.
Polygamy a charge on that? How do you marry 2 dudes? 1, those 2 dudes be okay with it. But 2, if you had 2 wives, you'd be in prison just for that.
What's this?
Not
Yeah,
true.
what was the state that the Tiger King thing's in?
I thought it was Florida, wasn't it?
No,
It
that's where
sounds
Carol
Florida.
Baskin has her thing. Is in Tampa.
It's in the South.
No, his
Everything
was
about
not in
him
the South.
says South.
It does, but it wasn't. I want to say it was
in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
All right. Midwest. Not the
I
South.
don't imagine their laws say that you can marry 2 people?
I don't know.
Is that legal anywhere? Should it be?
We won't get into that, but I didn't think about that. I don't.
Jesus.
There's
You're
so many
right.
levels to this whole thing.
So Joe estimated to make between 10 and 15 million dollars from that Netflix series.
Most of those are being paid in to the court,
Legal fees, yeah.
legal fees and everything else. He's still making a good bit, but he's
I'm
still
sure once
making-
he gets out too, he's gonna milk it. He's gonna
Oh,
try to
100%.
revive it and
Well, he was trying to get a pardon.
from
Mhm.
Trump.
Who's the
Can you
only
imagine
person.
if he did?
Oh man,
The
It
story
would be
that would-
crazy.
I didn't realize this, but the president's the only one that can pardon anyone in jail.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did not know that. Yeah,
I
If he
guarantee Trump
pardoned-
just wanted
if
himself
he
a tiger.
pardoned Joe Exotic, that would have been the biggest story for weeks.
that would have been amazing,
That would have been hilarious.
just because of the story aspect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just because of the pure like insanity that would have caused.
When
In a
Joe
way, I'm
Exotic
glad it
gets
did
out,
that.
there's going to be camp. How is he? Would you say 22 years? How long is he? He can't be in there for 22 years. What's this
Well,
say?
here's the thing.
At most, probably 15 years, and he'll do like
if
7
he-
years
if he's
probation.
good behavior and probation, and yada yada yada.
He was in his 50s.
50s or 60s, I thought.
Damn it! Like,
From the
I'm
time
looking
Just
it up.
he went
because
into
that
jail.
story coincided with COVID, when he gets out, that's going to be a big story.
Well,
If it was just a side story outside of COVID, because his story was made huge through COVID, because
True,
nobody
true,
else had
yeah.
anything else to do.
true.
When he gets out, that's going to be a huge story.
So
And
he's
he-
58 years old now.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he could, yeah. I thought he was older for some reason, but he ran for what, governor?
Yeah.
Was that in the series? Was it governor or was it?
mayor? No, I think
thought
it
it was
was
high.
governor.
I think it was
That's
governor.
gotta be
I think
May.
it was governor.
It was governor?
It was governor.
Jeez. It's
But like
ambitious.
it's so crazy that the world was made aware of this. Yeah, this had been happening for I don't know.
I don't think it's crazy as much as it makes sense
20
because
years?
nobody had anything else to pay attention to.
It's true.
That
Yeah.
was the time where everybody was off work. Everything was closed down. Nobody else had anything else to pay attention to. This guy thrived and peaked at the most opportune time in modern history.
No, time out. He ran for president.
Shut your mouth.
Oh, you're right. He did. Oh my
He was-
God, you're right. He did.
Exotic
No.
had three unsuccessful runs for public office for president of the United States in 2016
Right.
as an independent and for governor of Oklahoma in 2018.
Governor. Okay, that's what. Okay, yeah.
So he ran for the president 3 times and the governor
I will say
twice.
that I had in the 2016 election 6 votes for president for me.
that a boy.
Confirmed. Every year I have votes. Usually
get
it's Orange
sent, like-
County Sheriff.
Well, yeah, but do you get sent like an email update? Like, congratulations.
everybody sends
Here's a
me
pie
pictures.
chart of where you ranked in the.
Everybody sends me pictures of their vote saying, all right, here's me circling you in as the writing candidate. Usually it's Orange County Sheriff or Orange County Tax Collector. Those are the 2 ones. The most I've ever gotten were 15 votes for Orange County Tax Collector in like 2012.
So you need like a newscast just following you around, or like even on election day, you need like a newscast stationed at your house, just
in
so
case.
you can be put up on the screen. Everyone's
Just
like,
in
"Who the hell
case,
is
yeah.
that?"
Yeah. I got a group of people that vote for me every election for something, and I'll get
Hi.
about 10 something votes.
My name is Glenn Michael Ferris, and I voted for Christopher Boyce for Orange County Sheriff this past year.
You did.
I did.
That's how
I voted
corruption
for you.
takes place. Here comes
how
the
it happens.
corruption.
I
I,
thought
don't,
about
I
it.
would not. Okay, so I'd vote for you for sheriff. I don't know if I'd vote for you for tax collector because you're going to turn my
No.
tax dollars into stock
Yeah.
and gamble
You're
with
going
it.
to get a
Essentially,
26% return.
I don't know. If that's gonna
Year to
happen
date, 26%. Above
entirely.
average. Although today sucked.
Tiger King though is you're right. He hit at the most, or they, the show, Netflix. I mean, you can go down the realm of anybody that put that out.
That was everybody's
talking
entertainment
for
for a
months.
solid.
Yeah.
Well, I would say for like
Months.
a solid week.
If it happened,
That was
in
just
October
everyone's entertainment.
2019,
Was its peak, but like for months, it was
huge.
talked about.
Yeah.
It was it surpassed the what was a Netflix series that came out prior to that everybody had talked about.
Taylor Swift. A jury.
No, I love some Tay Tay, but no. Making a Murderer. That was like the last documentary that was
Yeah.
that Netflix
Wasn't that
did.
great.
That's infuriating.
I thought it was an interesting one, but that
Interesting,
was
but
being
I-
talked about. But this like quadrupled that. This was like the most talked about.
Yeah.
Social media. They were talking about making a feature film on this.
But because it had so much in it. I mean, you mentioned anything with cats alone, you have like 75% of the women vote right there. Like,
You had animals. You had gay dudes
Animals.
who had 2 husbands. You
Who were
had a
firing
wife,
shotguns
have
and
a
making
woman
country
who
music
allegedly murdered past husbands and had to have no like. There's everything.
You had
Every
something for
realm is
everyone.
covered. It is
Yes.
the absolute perfect documentary because every realm is covered.
Do you know what it was?
What?
A documentary series, basically, of a Jerry Springer
Yes.
show.
Yes. Yes.
in a sense,
That's what it was. And people loved that show for years. Now it's just redone in a different form.
Yeah.
Of a well thought out, or not well thought out, but well executed, well produced documentary series.
Yeah.
It was
That's what
almost
it was.
too real, like, to believe. I mean, even the dude's husband killed himself, and like they got that on security camera, and
That's
Just
crazy.
there was so much that happened. So much.
Crazy.
Carol Baskin did it.
She did it.
I think she did it too.
What is she doing now? There needs to be a. Oh, that'd be great. Where are they now? The show.
No, it still
all
does
the people involved.
She got her taken away too. I think she got her stuff taken away.
No. She still owns Big Cat Rescue. Is that what it is? I think it's what it was.
I thought that got shut down.
She still lives in Tampa, but no, I think I said on a previous pod, she and her husband, the dude that was like on the beach on his knees in a Fred Flintstone outfit with a collar around his neck. Like, what the are we watching here?
Oh boy.
So it says Carol still runs Big Cat Rescue, and she was actually awarded Joe Zoo in May of 2020.
Big Cat Burger and Fries.
Did not know that.
God, do you know how infuriating that must be? You know damn well Joe's going to get out and just finish what he had to do.
She was awarded that? How come they're not doing a documentary on that? What happened to the guy with the bandana and like the Oakley hat that thought he was like Mr. Tommy Toughnuts coming in? He was like
Tommy Toughnuts.
In a few years, they'll do another documentary of like, where are they now?
Right. And he got pent up on charges for having an illegal exotic petting zoo in his like Las Vegas apartment or home or something.
That's right. Bunch of wackos, dude.
Like, wait, so she was awarded the zoo?
That's what it said, yeah. She was awarded Joe Zoo.
What was that show?
Remember, she was trying to
it was The
buy
Office.
it?
The reverse petting zoo.
The what?
The reverse petting zoo, where the animals pet you back.
That's called Jurassic Park.
You pet the animals, they pet you back.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Why are you in a tux? such a good show. There's,
I love that.
You gotta
show.
watch it, man.
Oh, I don't.
At least those are broken up into 30-minute episodes or 25 without commercials. Please.
I will watch that more than I would Lord of the Rings.
Please.
Mary
okay,
and
cool.
I, we're
Watch
on a friends binge every night for about 2 hours before we go to bed. We're watching Friends. Friends is such a great. Have you guys ever watched Friends?
Ariana loves it.
It's the greatest show.
That's like her favorite show. I don't mind it. I just never watched that particular one. We are a ridiculousness. We'll watch that over and over again.
Yeah,
dude. Funny.
It is.
Rob Deerdeck with Robin Big and the Fantasy Factory. Dude went from like just smart dude, but hysterical guy. That show's great. The Impractical Jokers.
See, those two shows I used to watch a lot when they were back in the early days when they were big, and they sort of been like, all right, I get the gimmick. It's gotten a little bit old, especially.
Did you see the Impractical Jokers?
Yeah, Impractical Jokers. How do you not know these guys?
Terrible. That they will even say that though.
Right. But how do you not know when you walk into a situation with these guys? I mean, they're so well known now.
But the world is filled of what is it? I don't know, 70 million, 100 billion people. Not everybody is going to know them.
True.
Not everybody has cable TV with.
What I want to see is a show where they start to do these little gimmicks and people recognize them. Almost like the bloopers. Do they do that?
Yes. On Impractical Jokers, sometimes they'll be like, but here's the thing. Everybody that they've shown is usually like, hey, you look like that guy Sal from Impractical Jokers.
Oh, yeah.
And then they kind of play along like, oh, no, for real? Because like nobody's really, they're like, wait, hold on, I know you from somewhere. But think about that. If you're out in public and you see somebody famous, how many times do you question yourself? Because odds are you don't have the balls to go up to them on the street and go, oh, wait, you're Michael Jordan. I think that's him. Wait, no, is it him? Wait, no, I thought the right height. Wait, no, he has
people. They're surrounded by people, though.
There's people with such defining characteristics where like, you know that's that person.
Yes, but people are oblivious. We just talked about it, right? Last week on the road. People are not aware of their surroundings and the impact they have on their surroundings. So people walk into a park with cameras everywhere where like some people are very observant and like to look around and observe and go, oh, wait, what's that camera doing over there? Oh, wait, now I'm thinking I'm seeing like Joe from Impractical Jokers. Wait, oh, they're filming. Other people are just like, da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. Who's this funny guy? Oh, I think I might have saw you on my TV. You're, well, no, you can't be Joe because I'm not going to run into Joe here in New York, but the show's filmed in New York, but I'll figure that out in my head because I'm an idiot.
Right.
What accent is that?
I don't know. I don't know.
You know who's not aware of their surroundings? I was driving to the store the other day, and I'm going down this 2-lane road, and it's like one of those narrow 2-lane roads, and there's this dude on this bike, and he's got these little spandex shorts on and this little spandex shirt, and he's got his little Tour de France outfit on, and he's going
Lance Armstrong.
You got the line. You got in 2-lane roads. You got the middle line. You got the little side lines. This guy's driving on the edge of that line, and he's doing his thing like, "Hey, I'm training for the Tour de France." But there's nowhere for cars to go. So you got a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit and a 2-lane tight, narrow road, and you have to go and weave around this guy and weave across the center line. Which, if you do that when oncoming cars are happening, that's it. They're like, what the hell's this guy doing? So traffic's got to slow down. So this jackhole in his Tour de France Halloween costume.
They are ignorant. I will say that.
I can't stand it. And you've got two groups of thought. One is, hey, all bikers have the same blah, 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 blah as cars. And get the out of the way because you're slowing down traffic. And there's so many times where I don't give them the ample room to cross over, and I'll just like we talked about last week, we're all bumper scrape the guy in the left lane who goes slow when there's a biker
No, you don't
and
know.
he's slowing down traffic. I'll go like 2 feet from him and be like, "Hey, asshole,
Boyce, you are testing murder.
Yes,
you are literally
that's
testing murder.
That's
At least
vehicular manslaughter right there.
Yeah,
You didn't know
yeah,
how to
because they're
turn
slowing
on-
down, and it's always in the morning. You're like, oh, I'm going to get up at 7 in the morning and do my little Tour de France run. Guess what? There's 1,000 other people who are going to work at that hour. Oh, guess what? I'm going to do my Tour de France run at 5:30 in the afternoon. Guess what? There's 1 million people coming home from work, and you're clogging up traffic and screwing everything up to show off with your little blinky light in the back and your little tight shorts. I hate those people.
I love it.
I got two elements of road rage. Don't drive slow in the left lane, and don't use your Tour de France bullshit to slow down traffic.
So what would you do to them to avoid murder, but also send a clear message? Like for me, I would get in front of them and turn on my windshield wiper fluids and whatnot. I'd give them a little spritz and kind of send a message of,
The only time you're going to get the spritz is if you're driving 60 and they're directly behind you, because then that wind sends it over the top of your car into theirs. You're not going to get it if you're driving 20 miles an hour and this guy's right next to you. You'll never, that spritz doesn't work. I
if you
just
have a
drive
passenger.
as close as possible to them as they're going here, and I'm driving here. I'm like, screw you, I'm giving you a
That's
foot.
vehicular manslaughter.
No,
But if you have
Here's
a
the thing.
passenger, just
Hold on.
hang out the window, give him a little slap on the ass, and he'll move out of the
I'll
way.
honk. I'll honk too, or I'll drive down my window and go,
honking,
get the fuck
fine.
out of
The
Oh,
honk doesn't
Honky's
do
going to
anything.
scare the shit out of them, and then they're going to
Good.
No,
hit your
oh
car,
my
and then you
God.
roll over them, and then you're
Good.
facing charges.
Here's the thing. I don't think they're ignorant. Phil, I think you said they're ignorant.
They're ignorant.
I think
Ignorant.
No, I don't
Ignorant.
think they're ignorant. I think they don't give a
AKA ignorant.
and they think that they have
Precisely.
as much of a right of way on that road as you do in your car. So I don't think it's not that they're ignorant, but they
Italian
They
hands. Italian hands. Mafangul. Mafangul. No,
They
I get it.
don't.
They do. Technically,
no. Well, hold on.
technically they do.
The law says that they do.
If there's a sidewalk
The
feet
law.
from that road, use the sidewalk.
The law says that they do.
Use the sidewalk.
Okay, but no, there is a very slim line for them. Awesome, cool, use it, but stay the over there. There's so many people I can't stand that are like in the road, literally in the road or in the left
But there's
turning
no
lane.
lines on those roads. Not all
Okay,
roads have
Cool.
those
Then
nice
that's
like
their fault.
biker-
Then don't go down the road. Don't go down that road. You don't need
It's
to go down
common
that
sense. Exactly. It's common sense. If you
They
know,
don't have
that's your path.
sidewalks either.
hey, this
So
is a morning
what are they
rush
gonna
hour
do
traffic.
if they want to
Don't do it.
traverse down that road?
Oh,
Believe me, I get annoyed when I have to like look and make sure I'm not going to get hit by oncoming traffic to avoid them. But What
I
can we
drive as close as I
because
can.
the law
as
says that
possible.
they're allowed to be there as much as you are.
My right mirror is going to be within 6 inches of them. I'm not going to hit them, but they're going to get the message that, hey, off. There have been 3 times where I've rolled down my window and said, get the off the road. Like I've yelled at them. There's a sidewalk 3 feet from there. There's a sidewalk. And I get it. Like Tour de France guys don't want to use the sidewalk because blah, 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 blah. That. Use the sidewalk.
So
I would
learn their
rather
pattern.
I would rather you dodge 2 or 3 people walking on the sidewalk or a stroller walking on the sidewalk, roll in the grass for a second and a half, than screw up miles of traffic and make people cross the center line to up oncoming traffic. Those guys. You're
So
not
here's
gonna
what
make
you
the Tour
do.
de France. Why are you wearing spandex? Don't up traffic. You're an egotistical maniac.
So learn their patterns, learn when they get up, learn when they cycle. Overnight,
Ice
get
the
some
road.
Gorilla Glue, not ice them. Get some lovely tacks. You tack that bitch all the way down the road, and then you're going to see how quickly they get a flat tire, and then they have to walk their ass back. See if they go down that road again.
They're Tour de France. Somebody's following
France.
behind them, and they're going to change out real quick and get right back on
That's
the road.
fine. That's fine. Then follow their track a little bit further down the road, and then pop that backup tire too. Their ass will walk back.
Gorilla glue.
Gorilla Glue.
I used Gorilla Glue in the keyhole of a van one time because my neighbors wouldn't mow their lawn.
Okay. You have self-incriminated
what?
yourself many, many times on this
All right.
pod.
You almost
This is-
commit
you know what it turned
manslaughter
out-
with
you know
people
what it turned out to be?
Sneaking in the
I
country.
had these people move in next to me on my house that I owned back in like the 2010 era. And these people moved in and there was a lot of them. There was like a family of like 12 and they're like, this is very suspicious because the previous owners moved out. This group of people moved in. They didn't take care of it. I took care of my lawn. They didn't mow it. We started growing into my house. I'm like, what the hell's happening? So I offered them my lawnmower. It got so bad one day. I knocked on the door and I said, they had this sort of like, hello. And I'm like, hey, I got a lawnmower. I will let you borrow if you can mow your lawn because you're messing up my lawn. And he goes, okay. And he closes the door. And so weeks and weeks and a month went on and the grass grew crazier. The weeds grew crazier. It grew into my lawn. So I got some grass killer and I sprayed it all along the border of our house. So 3 feet of his lawn was just dead grass because I sprayed it. I'm like, this, I'm not killing my lawn.
The HOA didn't get involved?
No, they didn't care.
Huh.
So it got worse to where these guys were coming home.
They
at
won't care
midnight.
about that. They will care about if your mailbox is painted the wrong color, though.
Yeah.
Okay,
These guys got home at like 1 a.m. one time. There was like 12 of them. They get out of this giant van and they've got fish and they're scaling fish in the backyard. And so all these birds and animals come because I live near a conservation area. And it just got ugly. I'm like, man, are these guys legit? Or are these guys, what do you call them? People who jump in,
Gypsies?
no, people who take over houses.
Squatters.
Yeah, squatters.
Mm.
Turns out they were squatters. Didn't know it at the time.
Hey.
And so I got so pissed off. One time I looked out my living room window. There's this guy pissing on the side of the house. I'm like, all right, I've had enough. So in the middle of the night, it was like 2 a.m. They had this ass ratty van that all 15 of them would come out at the end of the day. And I took Gorilla Glue, I pushed it in their keyholes and just started scoring. And so I filled all of the keyholes of their van with Gorilla Glue. Turned out, once they left, they took the AC system, they took the water heater, they took everything.
All
There
the
was
stuff
squatters.
that cost money.
Yeah, there were squatters.
Man.
You are a 75-year-old grandpa. Get off my lawn, guy.
I gave them every opportunity to correct the situation by even offering them my equipment to do it. I said, hey, you can borrow my lawnmower. I will give it to you for a day. I'll provide the gas, whatever it takes. You're screwing up my lawn, but I will give you my lawnmower to borrow. Okay. And they shut
Nowadays?
the door.
Clint Eastwood now.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
exactly what I
Get
was.
off my lawn.
Nowadays, your your mug would be up on a Ring camera app because they would have caught you in a little keyhole putting Gorilla Glue into somebody's.
After this pod, I will tell you, I was in the front of my house doing gardening that day, putting mulch in, and those people had left. The house was up for sale, and there was a realtor showing somebody the house. The realtor and the person looking at the house came out. I turned to him, I said, "Hey, what's it look like in there?" And he goes, "You want to see?" He's like, "Come over here."
Yes.
It was a hole. Well, you walk up the steps, you come in the door to the left, you walk up the steps. There was like dirt and weird on the wall in places that you couldn't physically reach. It was way up in a place. I'm like, how does like just dirt and crap get up here? And he said something that I'll never forget, that I'll tell you off this pod, that I cannot say here, but it just resonated with me. I'm like, oh, now I get it. And I'll tell you off this, but
Yeah, that's fine.
it was bad. It was horrible. I'm like, all right, these guys were legit squatters. And so I have no regrets doing what I did to the car, to the yard, and all that. Because, and one night I had family in town for Thanksgiving. My brother-in-law from like Georgia, he's like, Georgia. They were doing karaoke.
Where is he from?
Georgia. Not Georgia, Georgia. And they were doing karaoke in the garage. And they were doing it with the doors closed. It was like 1 in the and they were singing. He's like, this. And he went out and he just goes, bam, bam, and starts just punching this garage door. And they shut up. But I'll tell you what it was afterwards.
All right.
And on that note,
Where did that even root from?
I don't know.
Bicycles?
Angry
driving on the
bikers.
side of the road?
Yes, bicyclers.
How?
People that made us mad.
Oh, you were an angry SOB there.
I thought I was angry.
Typically
Man.
Zen.
Red-faced and whiskey driven with a Flyers shirt on? That's
Let's get
a
him
recipe
playing
for
FIFA.
disaster.
That's the reason. Enough.
Holy mackerel. Thank you for listening to another Laid Off Lads podcast. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, as well as visit our site, www.layedofflads.com. And as this is a listener-driven show, we encourage you to put in topic suggestions and anything you basically want to hear us discuss. We will, odds are, discuss it. So feel free to just take a second. It takes a minute to type in lateofflads.com, scroll down. Hey, jackoffs, I want to hear this topic. Cool, we'll discuss it. Who cares if you call us jackoffs? We are. That's what it is. Who cares? Let's move
I
on.
don't care.
No, you're
Go
no.
f- yourself, call it jackoffs.
Okay. But thank you all very, very much for the continued support, likes, loves, and all of the messages that we have received. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you again for listening to episode, what is this? Episode 10?
10.
Episode 10. We've hit double digits. All right.
Still around.
Absolutely. Have a good week, y'all.
Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Laid Off Lads podcast. And if you're hiring, well, you know where to find us.